Have a great afternoon. We'll see you soon. Now, let's bring in the Vice President of Research for LikeFolio.com, Miss Megan Brantley, to the show, and she's going to talk about their data on the Apple event that brought out all these new products and how they were reacted to. Megan, you got a lot to talk about today in terms of this event. There's a lot of topics that they covered during this event. What stuck out to LikeFolio.com?
It's really when consumers tip their hand. You know, they tell what products they like, what products they don't like, what features they like, what they don't like. And it really helps us gauge demand, especially among these different brands moving forward, to say, okay, you know, what's gaining traction, what looks to be a hit, and what looks kind of, you know, lackluster comparatively. And of all of the things that, you know, Jenny just talked about that they released and announced, the iMac is really what stole the show. That seems to be the biggest mover, at least in our data. From a sentiment perspective, it was overwhelmingly more positive than negative. It was about 75% positive in terms of consumers' reaction to this iMac. Just to give a comparison, whenever the AirPods were released in 2016, that was about 55% positive. So, you know, Apple has some tough critics whenever it releases these products. So this level of consumer sentiment and consumer happiness is a promising future outlook for Apple, at least in this Mac brand. And you can see here, you know, we pulled a large tweet sample of all of the people talking about this new iMac, and the top driver of this positive sentiment was its appearance. The top three words when people were describing this iMac were beautiful, pretty, and sexy. And so whenever you can get people to talk about a computer in that manner, an M1 chip, I think that that's something that maybe only Apple can accomplish, to get, you know, consumers to use those descriptors. But people were also, you know, impressed with the new features, the Touch ID, a lot of mentions for that, a lot of mentions about the way that the Ethernet now hooks into the base. Obviously, a lot of performance nods to the new M1 chip. Just in general, the M1 chip on yesterday's date, the sentiment for that was 95% positive. So people do not have a lot of negative things to say about this new, you know, processing, this all-in-one, Apple calls it a system on a chip. And that's what I think allowed this Mac to get a redesign. Really, this is the first big redesign that Apple has launched of this new iMac since 2009. So I think that this is a long time coming. I will say the biggest pain point is that a lot of people talked about, you know, wanting a bigger screen on the Mac. And so that's something that we'll be watching. But when we look at overall consumer demand, this was a really large spike for the iMac brand. And we know that this new M1 chip has been helping to drive purchase intent, or helping to drive actual purchases for Macs in the past quarter. So this is something, especially looking forward, that could be really positive for Apple, especially as it's approaching these tough comps where, you know, people were stuck at home, they were buying computers, they were upgrading their computers and getting their home offices set up. That this could help to continue to drive demand, to continue to meet those expectations, because the bar is really high.